Hi everyone, I'm Ani from Neptune AI and we're at the AI Engineer World's Fair, and today I have Jose with me from Deepgram.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So Jose, tell me a little about your background, how you ended up in Deepgram.
Yeah, so I started off as an AI researcher, ML researcher at Stanford. After that, I became a software engineer, mostly in the fintech space. But being in fintech, I wanted to really get back to AI, and eventually I found Deepgram. So I was a software engineer at a couple fintech companies, and then eventually I made it all the way to Deepgram. And recently, I made a transition to the marketing team because, so instead of building the AI itself, I'm building demos with the AI. And the transition primarily occurred because I learned how to yap a lot. And as a result, here I am doing some presentations and stuff.
Congrats with the transition.
Thank
and
you.
also with the acquisition of Poised, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's really nice.
Glad that you knew about that.
Tell me about the product a little bit for whoever's not aware.
Yeah, so if you don't know Deepgram, we're a language AI company whose focus is primarily on audio data. So we do speech to text and text to speech. The way I like to think about it is that we provide the ears and the voice for any model that you might have underneath. All you have to do is provide the brain. We do enterprise as well as sell to individuals. We have an API that people can test out with various SDKs, such as a Python SDK, a Go SDK, a Node SDK, and so on and so forth. So if you want to build anything that has to do with voice, like say a chatbot that you can verbally chat with, or an AI agent or anything of that sort, we got your back. And we are the fastest, cheapest, and most accurate model out there as well.
Are there any specific challenges that you see will remain in the industry in the next 2 to 3 years than the speech to text or text to speech models?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge right now for speech to text and text to speech is latency. Even the best models out there, R models, or even OpenAI's Whisper or 11 Labs, one of the biggest hurdles that we have to hop over is the fact that people have to wait a really long time before a machine responds to you. So imagine having a conversation with a human. Right now, we're having a pretty normal exchange. Like whenever I finish talking, you can start talking as well. But when you start talking to a machine, there's a noticeable delay. I'd say, "Hi, how are you?" And there'd be a pause, and the machine would say, "Oh, I'm good." Right now, getting over that latency is the biggest challenge we have because we want our models to sound as human as possible. But in order to guarantee good results or human-sounding results when the machine speaks back and formulates its response, we need to have a certain amount of calculation going on in the back end, but that calculation takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, and by a lot of time, I mean on the order of 40 milliseconds as for our model. Trying to get that milliseconds down to say 20 or 10 or something closer to human is probably the biggest challenge that we have. And trying to get our calculations to go even faster so that we can get to that is going to be a hurdle that every company is going to have to endure over the next couple of years.
Is that the biggest challenge that you're facing at the moment?
At the moment, yes, because when it comes to other challenges, like say, training an AI agent on a medical vocabulary or a law vocabulary, a finance vocabulary, where you're dealing with things like Latin words or terms that not too many people use outside of those particular domains, you can easily fine-tune that. You can even implement some sort of RAG system or have a database with a specialized vocabulary. Those are problems that people have essentially already solved. The only issue there is whether or not companies have the resources to create models with those capabilities. But if you have the resources, those problems are solved extremely readily. As for latency, that's a problem that people are still trying to figure out. And that could even boil down all the way to the hardware level where you need faster GPUs and things like that. So long story short, things like specific vocabulary or say inference speed, those are issues that have solutions already available. The only question is whether you can afford them or whether you have the engineers to implement those kinds of innovations. But when it comes to things like latency, those are problems that actively, mathematicians, researchers are still trying to solve in the first place. But once those problems are solved, then it just becomes a question of resources for each company. Yeah.
Thank you. And since it's a multi-track AI conference, any specific track you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm in the voice AI space, so I'm very excited about the voice AI world. But on a more personal level, I do like AI art, and I know that can be a controversial opinion outside of our little AI tech bubble because there's a lot of artists kind of pushing back. I believe it was, I forget if it was Sam Altman or Andrew Ng who had to address a lot of a lot of issues with regards to that, especially with like artists sort of complaining about their artwork being stolen and so on and so forth. And obviously their opinions, their complaints, their concerns are valid. But I personally like the aesthetic of AI art, and I like the aesthetic of real art as well. So I'm really excited to see what's in store for the future there. Sora really excited me, for example, because that was a relatively recent release. But yeah.
It's definitely changing the way we do things right now.
Absolutely.
Thanks a ton. If there's anything else you'd like to share with the viewers, this is the chance.
Yeah, feel free to check out Deepgram. We're like, obviously, we've been working really hard on these models. Everything is trained from scratch. We have no dependencies outside of PyTorch. Everything is built from scratch, so we're very proud of our models. Feel free to check those out. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube, and so on and so forth.
Thank you.
Yeah, LinkedIn too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.